I was walking through my neighborhood the other day. It was late at night, around 11 p.m., and everyone was sound asleep in their homes. And if they weren't, they were shouting racial expletives at people that they have never met before. Or they could have been anticipating a stressful change in their life. But I stood there for a moment and commented to no one in particular. Good on them for both. It's best to have lively passions than slowly waste away. I'd like to think in one of those houses, a man with everything he thought he'd wanted still feels empty. And with no answers to why, he still feels pain, but chooses to numb his sense of self. As his eyes roll to the back of his head, he dies again for a few hours, only to wake up again from his Dave Matthews-induced coma, starting it all over. That's not why I was here making this video, though, so that's just a projection. I made this person up so I can feel better about myself, because I fear being doomed to suburbia for the rest of my life as a husk, mediocre and forgotten. And that makes me uncomfortable, so we're going to change the subject to something a little bit more lighthearted. I came upon a frog sitting on the grass of what I would assume to be my neighbors. I only assume because I've never met them. I don't know if they've ever even lived there. I could have been lied to all this time. Their home could have been filled with the greatest warmth I've ever felt, or untold sin, and I would have never entered, and they would have never invited me in. I find that weird, but I did say this was going to be more lighthearted. The frog hopped along and stopped in the middle of the street, and I thought it was very cute, and I tried to recall the last time I had been able to pet one. Probably as long as the last time I had felt something for another person. Not a fleeting crush or some camaraderie, but like an intimate moment that passed any sort of barriers of irony I put up between most of my interactions. Needless to say, I had found myself wanting. I bent down and the frog didn't even flinch. It let me pet it. I remember it not because of like the texture of it or the fact that it had been a while since I had a frog so friendly that let me near it. I had thought about it, of course, but then I realized that frogs don't have feelings like I do. Why would I even ascribe something like that to an animal? I was so self-centered when I had considered its existence. It it extends beyond me. It could have been so exhausted that it was unable to move, ready to give up. I could have been a cat that would have ripped it to shreds. It was only so lucky. It could have been a victim of one of the many chytrids that is bringing about the mass amphibian extinction. A parasitic fungus that is known to leave frogs sluggish, slowly withering it away, leaving them to suffocate in their own skin. Worse yet, I could have been transferring that fungus to it, effectively dealing its death sentence. It could have been just one of the picked for natural selection. A little too slow, a little too stupid, a little too friendly, just waiting to be ripped from the genetic pool. This frog goes through too much. What a miserable life to live and die as a frog. That's not the best deal, as our president and savior would say so eloquently. This filled me with anxiety for a moment, then clarity. I found that my fears are abstract to what a frog fears, which is self-evident when you think about it, but yes, my life is not bad. Better than most, really. And I do have the ability to do something about problems that affect others directly. And I hope most people can do that. Someone's life is better than yours. And at the same time, someone's life is worse. A matter of perspective, that is to say, one hand washes the other. You may not be able to solve your issues, is what I mean. But someone else may be able to solve yours. And in turn, you may be able to solve theirs. That frog needs me to speak on its behalf. It can't write or communicate. It didn't even go to primary school. Imagine that. The frog, however, helped me and gave me some meaning through that moment of clarity. My life does not end at me getting everything I would want. That's just the beginning. I think that the goal is having others achieve the same thing. And maybe you don't care about the frog and it's a stupid fucking frog, but you have to care about something other than you, right? There are no poop jokes here. I just wanted to say something that's been with me for a while, and maybe someone hears this. And if one person gets the message, that'll be just fine. 1 is better than 0, and 99 is less than 100. And things like this take time, and I just hope the world gets better incrementally. And this really isn't funny, and I am uncomfortable with that too. Nothing, I think that's true. It's like nothing gets rid of the sting like comedy does, but that's what I think, at least. Though our moments stink, and whatever happens, happens, all things still stand, however.